Good evening, Tim Hatfield in the Southern Cross newsroom with a special online edition focusing on the storm and power crisis gripping our region and the state. And our region has spent much of the day without power for the most part after yesterday's statewide blackout. There have also been issues with phone services while people have been unable to get petrol because petrol stations are unable to pump. And today the wild weather continued as people asked just how this blackout could have happened. Lauren Rose filed this report from Port Augusta where the power came back on around lunchtime. Meanwhile, in Whyalla, the power problems continued as well as strong winds lashed the city. There were also concerns for the supply of power to REM's Whyalla Steelworks going into tonight. The administrator, Mark Menther, has been reported in local press saying that the plant needed to have power back by 5 p.m. to avoid critical complications in parts of the steelworks. Now, it's believed that the blast furnace is in desperate need of power to prevent it from cooling down. Now, in the York Mid-North region, emergency services continued preparing for severe flooding, which is expected to worsen overnight. The region is also recovering from that freak tornado which tore through Blythe yesterday. Keziah Sullivan has more details for us. Meanwhile, the power problems also impacted Port Lincoln today. It did come back on late last night. However, it was then out again a few hours later. The region copped strong winds and rain and businesses were forced to close right across the Eyre Peninsula. We also had some reports, which we were unable to confirm, however, that there were concerns the hospital was running low on oxygen supplies. However, this afternoon, most phone connections also went down, cutting off communications to much of the region. And reports throughout the day have suggested for the most part that it could be into tomorrow before the power is fully back on across much of the Gulf region. However, as we've seen, some parts are already back online, even if there is some lingering issues. And of course, with the mix of the power outages and the ongoing weather issues, the SES is urging people to stay safe, stay off the roads if they can, and if there are issues with flooding, to call the SES line, which is 132 500, and only call 000 in an absolute life-threatening emergency. Now let's take a look at the weather. It was still obviously wet and windy today right across the region as that second storm front pushed across. 15 was the top in Port Augusta, Whyalla and Port Lincoln. Now, don't forget you can stay up to date with us right here on Facebook and on Twitter as well, and we'll have updates and information here throughout the night. And again, the SES number in the event of a flooding emergency is 132 500, so please only call 000 in the event of a life-threatening emergency. And also, please do try and limit any travel if you can. We'll hopefully be back with you in some form tomorrow. For now, though, I'm Tim Hatfield from the Southern Cross News team. Please do stay safe and good night.